this is all just so small in comparison to the bigger picture.
Whatever issue you're dealing with or experience you're going through.
That was meant to happen for some reason.
Right. And I think it's because of the first session where you were able to link so many things, right? You're like, oh, this, oh, of course. And it's made me who I am. And also on top of that, you find more appreciation for yourself in the session too.
For sure.
Because, I mean, you're always your worst critic.
For sure.
Right? And so that's what, people who struggle with depression, PTSD, anxiety have been able to improve their lives with or through is just the aspect of you can appreciate yourself more without that judgmental voice.
Right.
That shuts off. And many people haven't had that shut off their entire lives. Like, how can you get it shut off?
Yeah, they're not aware of, like, it's something called, like, an ego. An ego, like, when people think of, like, an ego, it's like, oh, some fucking douchebag. He's got a big ego.
It can be that.
Yeah, it can be that. Yeah, for sure. But it
can turn into something.
It's deeper than that. So
that bullies you.
Right. So it's like the self-love can't come when you have, like, these expectations and this false sense of self that you have on yourself.
Right.
How can you love yourself when you feel like you're not living up to your expectations, your parents' expectations,
Yeah.
So how can you love yourself?
You can't.
Why do you want to?
Right.
But you should.
Yeah. It's almost like people get to that point and they deal with depression and they're struggling for the rest of their lives on why I should appreciate me when I haven't done this and I'm holding myself to this standard and I can't let go of that.
Yeah.
And
like I was meant to be a doctor, I was meant to be a lawyer, and but I never live life with regret, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, living your life. Again, I fell prey to it. I was basically in, a marriage, basically living a life for someone else, doing what they wanted for me. It didn't work that way. I forced my way out in like the worst way possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you were acting out.
Yeah, I was acting out.
Yeah.
It's just like, how can I I'm so far in, I'm married, I'm sickness and in health, and what's the worst possible thing you can do to get out of a relationship? And I took that route.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
but now I remember when you were in that bed and you were going through it the first session, and you were like, oh, of course I acted that way. Of course.
Yeah.
Because of this, and this.
Yep. Yeah, connecting the dots.
And then you were like, oh, I never even thought about it through her perspective.
Yeah.
Like, man.
Being able to essentially, for so long I was looking for forgiveness from her and her family and somebody else. And I mean, you live a life, with that under your belt for so long, whether you're aware of it or not, it's going to continuously drag you down. It's going to keep your confidence not where it should be.
Yeah.
You're not being true to yourself. You're still thinking like you failed somebody. Like for the longest of time, it was like, I failed my marriage. I failed her family. They were so good to me. And I made up this other fucking scenario in my head, really how it happened, when at the end of the day, that scenario was basically just me not wanting to like take complete, ownership for my actions. I just kind of skirted around like, oh, they turned their backs on me because I was trying to be, well, it was more than that, Brett. Come on, let's be real with yourself. So just being real with myself and breaking it down in, that session, like going back to literally those points in time, feeling how I felt and literally like almost like I was there back in my past, acting as like a therapist.
Yeah, for yourself.
For myself.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting you said you couldn't take ownership of it.
Nope.
And you know what I think happens is, because if you would have taken ownership for that before your MDMA, what would it have looked like?
Dirty, rotten sinner.
Yeah. So, and you don't know what to do with that.
Going to hell,
and you don't know what to do with that.
What do I do with it?
Right. exactly. So that's why
So I made up. Yeah. Wow.
I think that's why a lot of people don't take ownership, and me included. I'm not but the more that you can get to the point where taking ownership for flaws and failures is an okay place for you, because you know how to pivot and still love yourself and appreciate everything else that you've done correctly.
Right.
Is the moment when you'll take ownership.
Exactly.
And it's like, but if you don't have that support from yourself, and you know how to pivot, then you don't take ownership. And it's not like you're an asshole or something. It's like he literally doesn't know how to pivot. If he accepts everything that he just did, he might off himself.
Yeah. Damn. So true. Well, the funny thing is like,
and then it's like, well, I'm a Christian. It was like, yeah, but we're forgetting Christ's love.
Yeah.
Forgetting the most important concept.